Hey guys and gals, today's topic is going to be about countermeasures for gun confiscation. And I'll be your host, the Homestead Prepper. And I know some of y'all out there are thinking that gun confiscation is impossible and it can't happen here in the United States. The government doesn't have the resources to pull off something like that. And I know some people are very adamant about their beliefs. And what I want to say to you is I want to just throw something out there at you, and I want to say that all things are impossible until they are not. So you think about that. What have you seen in your lifetime that you thought was impossible and it's been done? What are you seeing in your lifetime now that, there again, you thought was impossible, but it is happening right now? So gun confiscation, in my opinion, is completely feasible. The Chinese government, right after Sandy Hook, offered to come over here and help disarm America. So more likely, that's how I feel it would happen. They would get some foreign troops over here. I mean, it may not be the Chinese. It could be anybody. And they'll be working with one of those alphabet agencies that the government has in front of its name. And they will come over here and try to disarm us. So, but before I talk about the countermeasures, I want to talk about a scenario that might happen. It might be possible. I might be way off. I don't know. But, let's just say it's about 2 o'clock in the morning and you hear some noises and you hear your front door get knocked off its hinges by an armored vehicle that has a big 10-foot pole on the front of it and just drives up, pushes your door open. You hear some people burst in. You hear a couple shots fired. Your dogs are killed. You and your wife are being pulled out of your bed, and you're being pulled out into a room, and your children are there, and they're crying, and they're asking you in foreign accents, or maybe regular American accents, where are your guns? And you show them you're safe, and you open it up, and they take all your guns out of there. And then they ask you, are there any more guns in the house? And you say no. And about that time, a person walks in with a German Shepherd who's trained in weapons detection and explosives detection. Comes in your house, starts sniffing around, and is very interested in one section of the wall that you had something put in there, and you professionally drywalled over it, spackled it, painted it, and all that. You can't even tell it. But that dog can tell there's something in there, and they take an axe and they chop it open. And lo and behold, an AK-47 pops out of the wall. They find 2,500 rounds of 7.62 by 39, 20 full capacity 30-round AK mags, a chest rig, some ballistic panels, stuff like that. So one of those guys is going to slap you around, slap your wife around, hurt your kids, and ask you, are there any more guns in the house? And you're going to say no. And they're going to take that dog, and he's going to start combing your property, and maybe he's going to go out in your shed or wherever, and he's going to sniff out, some more guns and ammo, and then they're going to come in there, and they're going to break your leg or break your arm, and they're going to take all your food that you prepped, for, and they're also going to disable your power to your house with your meter by pulling the meter. And I know some people know how to get around that, but you'll be left without any power. And I know a lot of people say, well, I'll just get on the cell phone and I'll call my buddy. Well, you pick up your cell phone and no service. And you say, well, I've got ham radios. And you pull out your ham radios and you get those going, and the frequencies are jammed. So they're not going to just come in there and let you have the freedoms that you have now. You're not going to be able to get on the internet and put it on Facebook. Oh, I just had the government come in and confiscate my guns. It's not going to happen like that. They're going to seal up all the loose ends. So, which takes me to countermeasures that you might take. Okay, guys, what I've got here is some countermeasures, and the first thing you would want to do is have some decoy weapons. And if you don't know what a decoy is, it's just used as a means for distraction so you can conceal something. that someone might be looking for. Draw attention away from something else. So what you want to do is decoy the gun confiscators. And one way you're going to have to do that is you're going to have to give them something that they know about. Like my wife's Mini 14. Of course, my wife's not going to be real happy about me saying that, but when they come to your house, guys, they're not just going to show up and kick the door in and just start looking for guns. They're already going to know who you are, and they're going to say, oh, well, he's a member of the National Rifle Association. He has a concealed weapons permit. We've got all these 4.473s, and it shows that he's bought 25 weapons in the past 10 years or whatever. And if you just made a video on YouTube and you showed off your Mini 14, and they show up to confiscate the next day, well, I'm going to have to give them that. I can't get rid of it. But if I bought some weapons 10 or 15 years ago, well, a lot of people buy weapons, they use them for a while, they don't like them, they get rid of them, they trade them off, or they need to pay a bill or something. That's plausible. Okay, that's extremely plausible. But when they come in your house, you're going to have to give them something. So you figure out what you would give them. And I've got right here, I've got a junk gun. That's my Star 9mm that broke on me right after I bought it a couple years ago. Only paid $165 for it. I'll give them a bag of that. That's fine. You can give them that. But you want to decoy them. And like I said, if they pull out those 4.473s, and I know some people say, oh, they can't do that, that's against the law. Well, it's also against the law to confiscate your guns. Those people don't play by the rules, guys. So they're going to have all that information, and they're going to see what you bought over the years, and they'd better see some of that stuff, especially if you just made a video, or if you just bought that last week. They're going to want to see it. So you're going to have to give that up. So I think a decoy is going to be pretty good. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is, of course, there's lights on that thing right there, is caching weapons. And I had somebody a while ago sent me a personal message and asked me where the best place was to hide their guns, which I thought was kind of strange. And this video is just a general video. I'm not telling you where to hide your guns or to not, have your guns confiscated. I'm just talking about points here. But they asked me that specific question, and I kind of got a strange feeling about it. So I told them to hide your stuff in multiple locations off-site and don't make a treasure map. So something like that. So that's my advice, guys. Hide your stuff. Don't hide your stuff around your house. Whatever you have around your house, I'd have it in a location that the gun confiscators can be happy. And they might get a bounty. They might get a $1,500 bounty for that rifle right there. They might get a $1,000 bounty for that gun. And I know some people are saying, well, that's absurd. That's too much money. Well, the government's not paying for it. You and I are paying for it. They'll just raise our taxes, So these people that come to your house will be highly motivated to get your guns, okay? And they'll be promised something. And your neighbors may be promised that $1,500 if they rat you out. And, of course, they'll probably never see it. But caching weapons, I think, would be a good thing. And let me go a little more into that. Okay, here's my recommendation for caching weapons. Let's say this is you. Let's just say that's your wife. And let's just say this is someone that you trust with your life, who's in your survival group, and this is someone else that you trust with your life. And guys, I want you to know there's very few people I trust with my life, because I found a lot of people are just motivated by money and greed. So if gun confiscations do come, you need to not brag about what you have where you have it. Loose lips sink ships. So I can't emphasize that enough. But what I recommend is that you have a community cache. And let's just say you have a Mosin Nagant and you have 440 rounds of ammo. And that way, if I'm here and they threaten to kill my wife and kids, and they say, man, we know you've got a cache, you mentioned something about it. Well, I can give away this one right here. That's known about. She knows about it. My buddy knows about it. My other friends, family, they know about it. And that way, if we have to betray where our cache is, you are essentially decoying them again. But that's the community cache. And same thing over here. If they're threatened, they threaten to kill their kids or whatever, they can give them something, if they have to. And the people, they'll get their little bounty or whatever, and they'll think that's, all you got. But in reality, everybody needs to know about that, okay? And nobody touches it. And if you go there and it's been dug up, well, then you've been compromised. And what you need to do at the personal level is, like me, is I need to have an AR-15 cache somewhere off-site that only I know about. I don't tell no one. Don't even tell my wife, my best friend, my family. Nobody knows about that except me, and that way, if I need it, I can get to it. Same thing with my wife. She needs to take this Mini 14. She needs to cache it someplace that I don't know about. That way, if I don't know about it, I can't betray her, and if she needs it or can get to it, it's there. Same thing with my buddy. He's got his AK-47. Only he knows about it. Same thing over here with somebody in my family. They have their M14 or M1A, and only they know about it. So no one can get betrayed, and then everyone has a better chance of getting a weapon and stopping what's going to follow after that gun confiscation. Okay, another countermeasure I want to talk about is seeding the area. And if you have something hidden and they pull out metal detectors, let's just say that's your cache, what you can do is drive a bunch of metal in the area, and all it's going to do is slow them down, but eventually they will find that if they're determined enough. Some people could say, well, I'll just take one of these and I'll open it up, or I'll open up one of these and I'll take the powder and I'll just spread it all around my house, and that'll confuse the dog. Well, guys, that's not going to confuse the dog. All it's going to do is confuse the handler. The dog's going to know what's going on, and what the handler might suggest is just put some high explosives in the house and blow it apart. It'd be easier to find stuff. So I don't recommend that, and I don't recommend booby trapping your safe, because there again, they're just going to start blowing up stuff with high explosives. They'll be well funded and have lots of little bags of tricks on them. So I don't recommend that. Another thing too is, if I was going to make a cache in an off-site location, the only way that I really know of that I think could possibly work to throw off a dog's nose would be to put this in a vacuum. Okay, if you pull all the air out of it, there's not going to be any smell that's going to get through there. Now, I could be wrong, and they might train the dog to smell for PVC. I don't know what they're going to do, but I just want to throw some ideas out there. And no, guys, coffee grounds do not throw off the scent of a dog. So I don't know where you heard that from, but that is not true. It doesn't work. Anyway, I really don't want any comments on what you're doing, guys. I think you should keep that to yourself. If you have some generalizations you want to make in the comments, I think everybody would love to hear them, but I don't want to hear anything specific. I went to a gun show recently over there at the fairgrounds, and I was talking to a guy over there, and he was talking about the current gun situation and everything, and he told me where he hides his guns, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't walk up and tell a stranger that. So wherever you hide your stuff at, guys, or whatever your plans are, I would just keep that to myself and don't share it here on YouTube. Okay? This is the Homestead Prepper, out.